Hello. Let me take a few minutes to describe the Scalar Studio Cloud. First, a little bit about me. My name is Joe D'Amato. I'm a solutions architect for media and entertainment here at Scalar, a CDW company. I've got 23 years of visual effects experience, and the last 12 years of my studio life was spent focused on render farms and disk space, and that include a lot of digital resource allocation, procs and storage for Digital Domain, a couple of Disney companies, a image engine, and then some smaller companies in between. Basically, the Studio Cloud is three general offerings. The first one is 100,000 cores of render farm that's stretched across Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Los Angeles. The second is a co-location facility. So a lot of studios will put all or some of their infrastructure rack in our location. The last thing is offering storage on an operational expense or as needed basis. That's something we're working on, I'll talk about at the end. So the history of the Studio Cloud is here in Vancouver around 7+ years ago. There were 3 studios that wanted to bring work up from LA, but a large studio down there wouldn't send work up here unless they had 1,000 machines. So they banded together and had Scalar purchase those machines and then rent them back to the industry up here as needed. When one studio didn't need the procs, they would hand them back to the exchange, and other folks on the exchange would pick them up. Now the Studio Cloud exchange has expanded to many customers, and we have 100,000 cores across 4 cities. It's important that we maintain compliance with the Motion Picture Association's strict security protocols. That includes TPN and ISE standards. So as such, we offer a very simple air gap solution that passes all the tests. Basically, we work with the studio to light up dark fiber at their location, then they string that dark fiber over to our location. Once the studio is connected to our Studio Cloud via dark fiber, we're able to light up render nodes like this, or like these, or like these. So we take those servers and we simply connect them to your dark fiber. The only 2 people who need to change anything in your infrastructure is your network admin, who needs to connect the dark fiber to your network, and a system administrator who's going to put down the machine image and add them to the farm. Once that's done, everyone else sees those machines just like their on-prem render. The fact that we're so close to all the studio locations with our Studio Cloud means that it's a low latency situation, and the render times are equivalent to if they were running them on-prem. Typically, clients will rent a few racks on a long-term basis to supplement their on-premise farm. Then they'll work with us to reserve a few months of render to get them through some period of delivery or perhaps where projects are overlapping. Then there's that final last-minute call that we often get to light up whatever procs we have at the last minute so that they can get through their last-minute delivery or kickback from the client. There's also, of course, the public cloud option, which we can assist with. We have a huge public cloud team within Scalar that's aligned with the Media and Entertainment Group, so that's something that we're able to provide as a supplemental layer on top of the Studio Cloud. So what are the tech specs of this render farm? Well, our latest machines coming in are Skylake 6140 machines. These come with dual procs with 36 cores across each host. Each host has traditionally had 192 gigabytes of RAM, but our latest machines coming in have 384 gigabytes of RAM, and we're currently experimenting with Intel Optane technology to see if we can quickly get these machines into the terabyte range to accommodate the increasing number of high RAM shots we're seeing in both animation and visual effects. Okay, so I mentioned the second offering is co-location. Being that we're so close to the studios in each of the main cities, the studios started seeing the value of taking their infrastructure servers, starting with disk and render, and moving it into our data centers. We can provide that full Tier 2 experience with dual, redundant power supplies, diverse lines coming into the facility, and it really gives them that robust top tier style server room that they just have a really hard time trying to produce within the buildings that they have their studios. Especially in Vancouver and Montreal, power and cooling are a real difficult issue, and expanding those footprints is sometimes impossible. So now we have some extreme examples where the entire infrastructure for a studio will be in our data center, and what they're putting on site is basically their tape infrastructure as an off-site backup. So there you go. So I said I'd talk about the third offering of the Studio Cloud, and that's storage. So, unfortunately, I can't mention all of our offerings right now since we're about to release some new information. But I can say that we're focused on the archive and nearline solutions. We're finding that VFX and animation studios are busting at the seams with their on prem disk, and they need to have some place to put hundreds of terabytes for now while they wait to archive it or to do more work on it. And this data is often sticking around long after the movie has come out on the screen and has hit the digital and streaming releases. So we want to be able to offer a bilge pump or some way for studios to bail some of their data out and stick it in a temporary location while they clean it up, archive it, maybe bring it back to work on. So I'll have more information for you at that at SeaGraph. And if you have any questions about anything you've heard today at the StudioCloud, feel free to comment below or send me a message. Or better yet, come visit me at SeaGraph. I'll be on the floor. Reach out to me via LinkedIn here, and I'll make a point to meet up with you and answer any questions you might have. Thanks for your time.